I'm Wanda Mackey, health educator with the Guilford County Department of Public Health. I'm here to introduce this video on substance abuse and misuse in the community. The Guilford County Department of Public Health and UNC Greensboro Spartan Recovery Program partnered together on this video to raise awareness about this issue and its effect on young people and their families in our community. We know that parents of middle and high school students may have questions about the increase of drugs and alcohol among our youth. School nursing staff are in the schools every day and are aware of the increased number of drug-related illnesses and school absences happening in our county. For young people, the rational part of the brain isn't fully developed until age 25. Alcohol and substance abuse at a young age can lead to permanent changes in brain development. To avoid this, we encourage parents to be aware of signs of behavior change in their children, such as losing interest in school or other activities, signs of depression, or asking to be left alone a lot. The health department, along with our community partners, can provide information on resources available in the community to help parents who may have further questions. We encourage parents to create and maintain open lines of communication with their children and seek additional support when needed. We need the entire community actively involved to resolve this issue. No one is immune to the issues surrounding alcohol and substance abuse. Next, you will hear from individuals who are part of UNC Greensboro's Spartan Recovery Program, who will share with you how they first became addicted as teenagers, how it affected them and their loved ones, and their journey to recovery.
I started drinking when I was about 13 or 14. I remember the first time I drank, I got really sick. And the next day I remember telling my parents that I had eaten some bad food or something, got stomach poisoning, and it felt like something I had to hide. It felt like something that I knew was wrong. And my experience is that my using escalated very quickly. By the time I was 15, I was eating pills during school and smoking weed daily. I was just trying to get my hands on anything that would change the way that I felt. I felt depressed often. I felt like that I was inherently bad. And I was extremely suicidal. And I remember going to psychiatric hospitals for threatening suicide. And the first time I actually went to treatment for my substance abuse was when I was 18. I was attending East Carolina University, and I failed out my freshman year and went to treatment, and things didn't stick. But as far as my behavior goes during this time, I was lying constantly. I was isolated. And like I said before, and this was the main thing, is that I just felt like a bad person. That caused me to keep acting out on those emotions and to keep participating in deviant behavior. The only thing that I can say that I wish my parents did differently, and I know that they were confused just as I was, I wish that they knew what we all know now, that I have a disease called addiction, and that nothing was going to stop me from using no matter what they did. I feel like that I've been on a path, and it just took what it took for me to want to change my life. But the one thing that I wish that they didn't do, that they did, was, well, they used to confiscate weed from me, like if they found it in my room, and they would smoke it with their friends, and they would be honest with me about that. and I think it was an attempt for them to try to make it seem like it was casual, like a facade that things were okay, and I think we all knew that things weren't okay. But eventually, when I was 22, I went to treatment again at Fellowship Hall here in Greensboro, and I think I just had enough. I was tired of running away from my feelings and running away from people that loved me, so I just gave it an honest shot, and I've stayed clean since then. That was in May of 2016, and so it's been about 2.5 years now, and I'm grateful to be a college student again and for the Spartan Recovery Program here at UNC Greensboro. And I'm just grateful from where I'm at today. And it all started with me getting honest, first and foremost, with myself. Not on you, but in between you and the shot.
My name's Darian. I am a college student in long-term recovery. I started using when I was around 13. My first drug was alcohol. And I really did it because a lot of my friends were doing it and it looked fun, and it was normalized at that age. And when my mom found out, she was actually really accepting. She became, I guess, what you would call the cool mom, who she had that belief, and I still hear it today, and the fact that I know my child's gonna experiment and drink during her teenage years, and I'd rather her do it at home so I know that she's safe. Looking back now, I realize that kind of sent the message that it was acceptable and okay. And for a while, using was fun. I used throughout my whole 4 or 5 years in high school, and by the time I was 18, I was addicted to pain pills. My mom was not aware of how bad my using had gotten, and by the time I was 21, I was fully addicted to heroin. Between the ages of 20 and 22, I went to 2 different 28-day inpatient treatment centers and detoxed 3 different times. But today I have a little over 15 months in recovery, and I have not found it necessary to use any minor mood-altering substance within those 15 months. I don't believe that anybody else is responsible for my actions or my choices. I do believe that addiction is a brain disease. With that being said, I do wish that my mom knew what we know today about the disease of addiction. And I think it's really important as parents to pay attention to how your child copes with life's challenges. I know for me, using became my only source of coping. It helped change the way that I felt, it helped me to deal with things, and it numbed me pretty much. I know today that in the future, if I have a child who, is using, that I'm not going to act casually in that situation. There's so many supports out there for children who are using, for their loved ones. There's professionals who can do assessments and that can give recommendations. And I just think it's really important as parents to let your kid know that it's okay to talk about what you're going through and to let them know that they're not alone. And I think most importantly, don't ignore it. I think facing what could be addiction head on is the most important thing that any parent can do. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Bob, and I'm a parent of an addicted son. He's now in recovery. When I was sitting in your chair some time ago, all I thought is I wanted my son to be doing well, good grades, being successful in school, a happy life, grow up a good man. What I didn't realize is my feelings were buried at times. I watched, I kept an eye on him. I knew that he was out there having a good time, like all kids would. Even I did that. But somewhere inside of me, it was painful. It's painful to know that something was going on, it wasn't the same. Something was wrong, and I could see it, but I wanted to bury it. Didn't like that feeling if I look back at it now. Today, it's still a little painful, but it's gotten much better. Knowing that time will go on for you, it's important to not bury any feelings that you might have, any suspicions. Take a look closely at how you're feeling about things and how things are going for you. Because your son, your daughter, they'll do what they want to do, and they'll always will. Whether you just deny or want to deny because it's too painful. It was painful for me, it may be painful for you. Today's much better. Through programs of recovery, parents and adults do better. They have a better relationship, have a solid relationship, have a relationship with their son or daughter that is now meaningful. Remember, the way to help them is first to help yourself. First, identify how you're feeling about things, especially about the things you think could be going wrong. And they may be going wrong right in front of you. Don't put them off, pay attention.
My name's Alex. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and what that means is I have not used drugs or alcohol in over 2.5 years. Currently, I'm an MBA candidate at the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. I'm part of the Spartan Recovery Program. I've been given the opportunity to go back to college because of my recovery. However, looking back in time, I'm here to discuss how things have gone for my family over the past several years. I started drinking when I was 15 years old. I was invited to a college party. So after my first drink, let alone with the situation and the alcohol itself, I had gotten high for the first time in my entire life. And I wanted to chase that high until I was 25 years old. I went to 2 treatment centers, and to let you know a little bit more about what happened in the past, during high school, I hid my use from my parents as much as I could. And also, what led to my drinking even more was my use of prescription medication. I was prescribed a certain ADD medication that I had abused throughout high school and throughout college. My parents did not know whether that prescription was addictive or not, but it definitely led into my addiction and as well my consumption of alcohol. I drank until I was 26 years old and also hid that from my parents for as long as I could. A thing that I want my parents to know, lock up your medications, but also you need to lock up your alcohol as well, because that's where a lot of teens do get started in their active addiction. That's what leads children into other phases in life.
My name is Terry Spears, and I'm the coordinator for the Spartan Recovery Program here at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. You've heard some powerful stories from 3 amazing students who shared their journey into early use of alcohol and drugs that led them to addiction. But more importantly, you heard that they are now in long-term recovery and being successful academically and personally. You also heard from a parent who offered his experience in hopes to help parents have a beginning education to what early use looked like in their home and some advice that they learned. We hope that the takeaway are these truths. First of all, we know more today than we ever have about the brain disease of addiction. No one chooses it. No one is immune either. Alcohol and drug use by teens and young adults should never receive a casual response, nor should parents believe that it's a rite of passage into adulthood. Finally, be the parent. Don't act casually. Seek professional help, especially if it's a repeated occurrence. There are professionals that can assess your child's drug use and probably get more to the truth of their use than they're going to tell you. You heard our students talk about the shame that comes along with addiction. Please don't let your shame or your embarrassment or your fear of failure or judgment by others be the barrier to you seeking help for your child and for your family, because this is a family disease. But also remember that people do recover, and they're amazing. Thank you for this opportunity. Reach out. Good luck.